this is our human introduction to Rambo and Cacao. It is that which we share in darkness and in light to create some awareness into their spectrum, the blessings and lessons that come from these magical beings, as well as this ability for us to be able to learn and connect with them.
In 2022, Cacao was starved to 6 kilos below her healthy weight, fighting for her life, limping, terrified of any being. She would go into shock for around 40 minutes when meeting strangers. Fortunately, Cacao was rescued from the streets of Santo Meio Príncipe by a girl named Joana, who raised money to bring Cacao to her new home, PurposeFlow. Once here, her trepidation and distress slowly faded away, as she was able to meet different beings that show her that she is safe and she is loved. It has been a beautiful and powerful journey with her here. Her story beautifully illustrates the transformation of trauma into love.
Trauma is an unhealed wound that we embody and that can be reactivated by triggers. Our responses to trauma can generally be categorized into these: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. If we watch our bodies, we can understand from these behavior the triggers that come. These triggers can teach us what are our needs for healing. Behind every trauma is a trigger, and behind every trigger is a treasure to be unlocked. Like humans, there is a bodily response that happens in animals, and Cacao is no different. In fact, there are some ways in which she shows her discomfort when being triggered, such as, for example, repeatedly looking away, or starting to draw into herself, or more obviously, she might growl or even snap. These are signs of a trauma response.
Trauma often comes from feeling powerless or exploited. When Cacao sets boundaries by snapping or even biting, it is one of the ways that she has learned to keep herself safe. However, she has also learned how to give love as a trauma response. This can be confusing, especially at first, but after building your connection with her, it will become a lot easier. So how can we be mindful and avoid triggering Cacao's trauma?
One of the first things is to give her space. When first meeting her, give her time and space. Let her smell you and become familiar with you. Be transparent. And we mean this like with humans. Talk to her as if she were a human. Talk to her gently and tell her when you pass by her or sit next to her. For example, "Hey Cacao, I'm gonna sit here." It's okay to speak to them. They appreciate this.
Be understanding. As she has starved a lot, she is very sensitive when eating. Don't interrupt her. Even if she's eating food she's not supposed to. In this case, you can go to Auntie or Anna or someone who you know that has a deeper connection with Cacao so that they can intervene safely. Be authentic. She has a fine sense of how you feel, and there's no need to pretend affection. Tell her if you need space by saying, "Space, Cacao." She is very receptive.
Boundaries are important. Just as they are important for humans and we are developing them, so is she. However, she cannot express her boundaries in the language or the ways that we can. So she is learning how to communicate her boundaries with humans. One of them being, for example, snapping if her boundaries have been crossed. With this being said, we invite you to be present with her. While interacting with her, it's important that you're consciously present, not just stroking her and paying attention to something else, because you don't know, if you don't yet have a connection with her, if you are triggering her.
These ways of being mindful towards Cacao's trauma are not only limited towards her. In fact, they are powerful teachers and guides for handling trauma within ourselves and others. Trauma forms in relationships and heals in relationships. With patience and empathy, you can be a part of Cacao's healing, and she can be incredibly loving and affectionate. She is very playful too and loves bum and neck scratches.
Now, Rambo. Rambo is known for his love of adventure. He likes to solo travel and explore. We, for example, have the boundaries of our property, but they are not his limits. He goes under them, and we're not going to close them. We want him to be able to be free. Although he doesn't have the same level of trauma as Cacao, he also had a difficult start to his life.
His previous owner was a neglectful millionaire who would often leave drugs around the house and that Rambo and his brothers would often manage to eat. Rambo has also had his tail broken when his owner closed the door on him. He was then rescued by PurposeFlow volunteers and has found a happy home here.
Due to his adventurous nature, he has also attracted the attention of many angry shepherds, but also the police, and he's been shot twice. This is where it's important to be mindful with Rambo. When going out on walks, Rambo might follow. If the dogs follow you, then it's your responsibility to either put them on a leash or to take them back. Once you bring them back home, you gotta ask someone to keep them there for at least 5 to 10 minutes because they might still end up following you. We have learned this the hard way, through much trial and error.
You can undoubtedly share some beautiful and magical moments with them when taking them on walks.
You can also give them some snacks. This, however, is important to check with myself or Anna first because they have their own special diets and things that affect their bodies differently. They also like to sit next to you or on top of you. They love cuddles, especially Rambo, but Cacao too. Also, if you build this connection with her, she'll come and sit on you. It is important to be conscious of the giving and the receiving, doing so with consent, respect, and love. This is the key.
When we're away, Rambo and Cacao can miss us a lot, and their behavior can become more anxious or stressed. Cacao especially can get nervous in the first few days after we've left. Both dogs have different diets, so please ask Auntie or Anna before feeding them first.
There are some final considerations to take note of. Like any great relationship, there is a learning process in accepting, healing, loving, and evolving. This can take time, so it's important to give them and yourself the time for it. Thank you. We trust that this experience can be one that is healing, loving, and empowering. And we really hope that you can take so much from this experience, not only with us as humans, but with these animals. With so much love, thank you.